Hey everybody, welcome once again on a wonderful, beautiful Monday morning. We're glad you could be with us. We're excited that you joined us. We're still here and you're still there, wherever there is. And today we're going to hear from Hannah, our intern. We're going to have some worship from Chris, and we're glad that you could come. Hey, by the way, if you haven't already, do remember, go to CCH 410 Fast Family, a Facebook page, CCH 410 Fast Family. And be sure to join us in fasting and raising some money for Circa de Haiti, especially during this COVID-19 time. And do join us in our prayer vigil that's going on right now. You can still join up and be part of that. So be sure to sign up for those things. Go to our website for more information if you need it. It's great to have you with us this morning. Let's go ahead and get started.
Hey guys, it's Andy. Just wanted to pass by and remind you about the importance of continuing to give during this time. As always, when you give at CCH, you are supporting EIU outreach, student-led ministries, and our ministries that we support both in Haiti and our Hispanic ministries. So I encourage you to continue to give and to remember that the Lord loves a cheerful giver. So if you want to give today, you can go ahead and do that by using the hamburger icon if you are on a cell phone, or if you are using a computer, there should be a link on the page. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on whatever time you are watching this. As you can see, I am in my son's nursery. He's taking a nap downstairs, so I retreated upstairs to his room because this is what life looks like right now. And things are a little different, but that's okay. I'm glad that you are able to join me in my son's nursery this morning, or again, whatever time of day it is, for this devotion. And I've got to tell you, I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of good stuff jammed in 3 verses that we're going to discuss this morning. So it's going to be 1 Peter 5:5-7. We're continuing in 1 Peter. If you've missed our past sermons or devotions on this, definitely check out our website. We have either recordings or our YouTube channel. We have the videos that we've been doing since this shelter in place, social distancing stuff has been happening. So definitely check those out. So yeah, we're continuing with 1 Peter. Last week, Elise told us about the elders and what it means to shepherd others. But for this week, we're going to see a little bit of a shift talking about younger people, and then how some concepts apply to us all. So yeah, for this week, let's go ahead and read 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 5-7. It'll be in the notes tab. Grab your physical copy, look it up on your phone, whatever it is. I'll give you some time to look that up. 1 Peter 5:5-7. And this is me filling space until I think you've got it. Okay. It's so much harder whenever you're on a phone. You can't see people flipping through their Bibles or anything. So I'm going to hope that you're there. And so I'm going to go ahead and read. Okay. So 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 5-7 says, "In the same way, you who are younger, submit yourselves to your elders. All of you, clothe yourselves in humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you." So yeah, it's just 3 verses, but there's so much good in there. And I'm going to try my best to sort of condense this. And that way we can have a shorter time this morning. But keep watching, stay engaged, and yeah, let's celebrate all this good stuff together. So 3 main ways that I see, ways that God is for us in this. We can see it through submission. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. We see it through humility and humbleness. And we see it through our ability to cast our anxieties on him, or cast your cares, depending on your translation. And all of this shows how God cares for us. And I'm going to talk about that towards the end, but for now, let's go ahead and talk about submission. So yeah, in the first verse, it's talking to the younger people. It says, those of you who are younger, submit yourself. For some of us, submission, the topic of that might put a bad taste in our mouths. It might be confusing. We may have heard it talked about or taught in some ways that just aren't right or true. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to think about sometimes, because we just have a misunderstanding of what it means. So submission is how we let go of control and learn to trust others. So we might be tempted to think of submission as suppression or oppression, but it's actually the opposite. We can find a lot of freedom in it. Whenever we submit ourselves to another person and what their thoughts are, their ideas, their decisions, whether they're an authority or not, we are letting ourselves let go of some control and say, okay, I trust you. Submission is the ability to lay down the burden of always needing things to go our own way. I've been reading a book, Celebration of Discipline by Richard J. Foster. It's an excellent book. As always, I recommend a book whenever I talk about anything. And so it has a chapter on submission. And he says that only submission can free us sufficiently to enable us to distinguish between genuine issues and stubborn self-will. And that was a bit of a wake-up call for me. I'm stubborn, I recognize that. I'm always working on it, pretty much constantly. And so that was really good for me. Through submission, I'm able to distinguish, okay, is this something that I'm fighting for because I want, where I need to, frankly, just be quiet and trust others? Or is this actually an issue that is something that really truly needs my input or my opinion or me pushing for what I want? And that's what a healthy submission looks like. It's not keeping your voice stifled in any and every situation, but trusting others and allowing yourself to let go of control. So while the concept of submission was addressing to the younger people, in the same verse it says, all of you clothe yourselves in humility. So now we're transitioning from submission to humility, but we also see how the young and old can become a really beautiful team as one unit through both of these concepts, submission and humility. And I think sometimes it's hard to talk about humility or humbleness because it's hard to say, I'm so humble. Like you don't hear that. I don't think it's wrong to recognize if you're humble, but it's also a hard thing to obtain, I suppose. So it's more of a way that you act. It's more of an attitude and a lifestyle. A humble attitude is how we can lay ourselves low in healthy ways. One of the best examples we have of that is Jesus whenever he washes the feet of the disciples. So that wasn't a way for Jesus to use like this false humility of like, oh, don't worry guys, I'm so humble, I will wash your feet. But it was an act of service. And I think that false humility is a tempting thing for us to do because, you know, sometimes whenever you get a compliment and you hear people say, all glory to God. That is true. Yes, all glory to God. However, God has gifted you in ways, and it's not bad to recognize that. I mean, God recognizes that, and he loves it, and he's thankful, and he's gifted you in these ways so that you can help the kingdom. And so it's not bad or wrong to recognize those things, just don't boast about it. Don't have that that pride as we see in this, you know. God opposes the proud. But it is okay, going back to, this is harder whenever I don't see anyone. But so back to Jesus. having this act of service with washing the disciples' feet. We can do the same thing today. A few weeks back, Dana gave some examples about how we can serve our neighbors and others in our community, especially in this time. So she gave some good examples of how we can do that. So again, check out that video. It's on our YouTube channel, and we can find a way to practice humility through service. So yeah, we're seeing how submission and humility complement each other in really well in this passage. We can see how this is pleasing to God because it says, under God's mighty hand, he may lift you up in due time. I think that's really exciting, that God lifts us up with his mighty hand. Like, I don't know about you, but I get really excited whenever I hear that. So yeah, whenever all members, young and old, are humbled, God shows favor to them and lifts them up. So yes, all of this, it's important that all of this is in a healthy way. So yeah, we see in these two things, through submission and humility, that God is for us. And the last thing, it's stated a little bit more in an obvious way, that we see how God cares for us. I mean, it literally says that right in the text. Because God cares for you, he can handle our anxiety. He wants us to cast our cares on him. God is for us. And imagine in this situation specifically with the young and old, I imagine that some of the elders in this situation felt nervous about being a shepherd. Maybe they were really new to it, and that felt like a lot of responsibility. Maybe some young people's hearts started racing at the thought of submission, the thought of letting go of some control. But we are told that because God cares for us, cast your anxieties on him. And that's especially fitting for our world today, right? I mean, we're in some weird, uncomfortable, anxious times. It's understandable and it's normal to have those thoughts, but we can't stay there. Our first reaction might be anxiety, but we can work hard to move past that, to where that isn't our initial gut reaction to be anxious. So yeah, we can see in this passage how a body of believers can work well together by trusting each other, and we can see how God cares for us through it. So I want to end with saying, if you're struggling right now, please don't do it alone. We see in this passage how the church is for each other and how they all are making a really great team. So first, I really encourage you to take it to the Lord in prayer if you're feeling some of this anxiety. So take it to the Lord in prayer, journal, take a step outside and just imagine that you're just breathing God in, and whenever you exhale, those anxieties are just getting pushed out. It sounds silly, but I've tried it before, and sometimes that's what I have to physically do to calm down, and then I can focus and get some good time with the Lord. Another thing, I always say this, staff and I are here for you, and I'm sure you're so tired of hearing that from me, especially because I say it I think every single time, but it's true. We're still working, we're not in the office or anything, but we're available, and we can set up meetings with you still, through Zoom or FaceTime, or if you just need to text us and say, hey, I need prayer. And speaking of, during this, you can request a prayer with someone, and someone from staff will accept that and they'll pray with you. And even if you're watching this later, just shoot someone a text, someone on leadership team, your life group leader, your action group leader, whoever it is, but don't do it alone. We're here for you. So yeah, that's what I have for us this morning. It's a lot of good stuff packed into 3 verses. And through this time, and even whenever this is over, which it will be over, this is temporary, you guys, and I hope that can give you some hope and some comfort. Just remember that God is for you, and he cares for you. And just dwell on that for a second. He cares for you. The creator of the universe cares for you and is for you. And through just these 3 verses, we see that through submission and humility and our ability to cast our anxieties on him. So that's what I have for us this morning. Again, request live prayer during worship if you want. I encourage you to reach out to me or the rest of staff. We're here for you. Reach out to someone on leadership team. But for now, let's go ahead and worship together.
Stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are, it's who you are, it's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. And I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are, it's who you are, it's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are, it's who you are, it's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. And love so undeniable, I can hardly speak, and peace so unexplainable, I can hardly think as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still into love, love, love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are, it's who you are, it's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are, you delight in the offering. You have the heavens to call your home, but you abide in the song we sing. 10,000 angels surround your throne to bring you praise that will never cease. But hallelujah from here below is still your favorite melody. And we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Should the fire that once burned bright become an ember my eyes can see, I will remember your sacrifice. I will abide in your love for me. We sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 Jesus Christ, our King enthroned, all the praise is yours forevermore. Hallelujah, you belong. All the praise is yours forevermore. Jesus Christ, our King enthroned, all the praise is yours forevermore. Hallelujah, you belong. All the praise is yours forevermore. Hallelujah, you belong. All the praise is yours forevermore. And what a wonderful day to come, when every knee bows before your name. But we will not wait until it does, for here and now shall your kingdom reign. And we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We sing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
once again, we want to thank you for joining us this Monday morning, and we hope that this was a wonderful start to your week like it was for ours. It was good to gather with you guys. Let's have a great week, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Thanks again.